It's been quite a year for Attorney General Maura Healey. She first took oath of office 11 months ago, and since then, it's been non-stop action. She joins me now. Attorney General, it's good to see you. Thanks so much for being here.
Great to be on.
You're a big Hillary Clinton supporter, I know. We played a minute ago the line she used in the debate Saturday night where she said ISIS has videos to recruit using Donald Trump in them. Fact checkers said there's no such thing. Donald Trump said, I want an apology. She said, hell no, her people. Why shouldn't she apologize for a major fact? That's a pretty serious allegation, isn't it?
Well, you know, I think that what she is probably voicing, though, she'd speak for herself, is some of the frustration around his really divisive rhetoric. And I think that what he has had to say over the course of many weeks and months about all sorts of groups, women, people with disabilities, now Muslims, is really not only counter to basic principles of our Constitution and things that we fought wars about, but also is really divisive in this time. And really the people, and particularly the voting public, needs better from somebody who seeks to be president of the United States.
But even though her allegation is factually unsupported, you don't think she has any obligation to apologize to Trump?
I don't really have a view on that. I think that that's something that she'd have to address.
Okay, let's come back here and talk about DraftKings. You promulgated regulations that are not yet in effect to protect minors, protect the consumer, all that sort of thing. You have a record of being pretty concerned about the spread of gambling in Massachusetts. You opposed the casino law. You voted to repeal the casino law. Why didn't you take the route that was available to you, it seems, based on some ancient Massachusetts statute, and say, this is just illegal. It shouldn't happen in our state?
Well, because as I looked at it, and as our office looked at it, looked at the law, looked at the facts, we thought that the public interest was best served by proceeding with really strong consumer protection regulations. Other jurisdictions, other states have chosen a different route. Frankly, they're in limbo right now. They're nowhere right now. That is still contested and will be for some amount of time. But what we did was work hard to get in place really strong consumer protection regulations that'll ban those under 21 from playing, ban the play on high school and college sports, making sure that there's full and fair disclosure and many other things. And I think that that's the way to go. Look, policymakers, lawmakers here could decide to ban it. But again, looking at the law and looking at the facts, we made the call, and I made the call that I thought was right.
But as a policy matter, are you concerned about the omnipresence of gambling here? By far, we spend more per capita on lottery than any other state. Now there's DraftKings. We know about 3 casinos in a slot, well, at least 2 casinos in a slots parlor, maybe more. Do you worry about the direction we're going in terms of state sponsor, or at least approved gambling?
No, of course I do. Of course I do. I was clear when I ran, I wasn't a fan of casinos. My job now as Attorney General is to hold casino operators' feet to the fire. We see what's happening with the revenue dipping down in Plainville. I don't think they're the formula for success. I don't think that they're a foundation for economic growth. And unfortunately, whether it's the lottery or whether it's casinos, I look at these as regressive revenue generators, and that's unfortunate. But daily fantasy sports, new industry, and I can only do what I have authority to do, which was to put forward really strong consumer protection regulations in this space.
Maura Healey, you were on Boston Public Radio with me and Marjorie Egan right after a front page Globe spotlight story about a term I never heard before, concurrent surgery, where a surgeon is doing a second surgery before he or she finishes the first. It focused on MGH, where apparently 15% of the surgeries are concurrent. When I asked you about it, you said, I actually am not in a position to comment, confirm, or deny. Certainly as a consumer advocate, I think it's important to have transparency with respect to medical procedures. Are you in a position to comment now?
Not any further, except I will say this. This isn't the first of these reported in the country. This is something that has been on people's radar in other places and other jurisdictions. And from my perspective, it's really important that patients have information, that there be transparency about the nature and the kind of procedures that they're getting.
MGH says that while they urge, they don't require that surgeons notify patients that they are one of 2 being operated on simultaneously. Is that okay with you?
Again, I think it's really important that patients understand what it is when they're going in under the knife. I think it's really important to understand who it is who's going to be performing that surgery and what's going to go on. It's a matter of consumer protection, consumer information. But with respect to this particular matter, I can't comment any further given the scope of the investigation.
Can you say that you're looking into this? Globe yesterday said federal and state prosecutors have subpoenaed 10 years of internal medical records. You're a state prosecutor.
We are looking at this.
You are looking at this, okay. Opioids. You have been laser-like focused, as is the governor. You're part of his task force. He proposed two things that have been pretty controversial in his plan. Limited the first prescription of an opioid to 72 hours. You're okay with that. I haven't heard your position on another. Involuntary commitment by a doctor, if he or she chooses, of an addict for up to 72 hours. You don't go to court. You don't need to get court approval. Are you okay with that?
Well, I think the governor is right to be really aggressive and think outside the box when it comes to this crisis. We are living it and seeing it every day. Around the prescribing limits, 72 hours, maybe more, maybe less. We can talk about the details of that and what makes sense. Good news is the medical community is now at the table wanting to be a part of responsible prescribing guidelines and practices. On the commitment issue, to my mind, what this is really about is how do you get people who are using, who want help, into treatment, into care. Part of the important puzzle here, though, is making sure that there are places to send people, that there are treatment facilities and beds and programs. Right now, we don't have enough, to my view. The governor has proposed additional funding for that, which is good, but that's what we need to make sure we have in place. So do you support
or oppose the involuntary commitment?
I support the concept of it, insofar it's about getting people into treatment. I do think that some of the details need to be worked out, and I'm hoping that come January, when the legislature returns, we can really get moving on this legislation, which is a broad piece of legislation to deal with the issue.
We only have 1 minute left. Debbie DeMacy, the wife of the former speaker, has sat there several times. She and he are seeking under federal statutes a compassionate release, nonviolent crime, served half his term, maybe dying, but at least seriously ill quickly if you can. Do you support that?
I do.
Why?
Let me tell you, look, I don't know Sal DeMacy. I've never spoken with him or met him. But when I look at the factors, I believe that he meets the factors for compassionate release. Look, what he did and what he was convicted of is a violation of the law. It was a terrible breach of the public trust, but he does qualify, at least with respect to the elements. He's over 65. He's got serious medical conditions. He can't even eat. He has surgeries every month, multiple cancers, and he's served more than half his sentence, which is what the federal guidelines allow.
We're one of 5 states that doesn't have compassionate release in state statute. Do you support that as well, adding that?
I support adding that, or at least taking a look at it, because again, this is about, do you want to have people behind bars we're continuing to pay for as taxpayers? Does it make sense? Is it right?
1 year. It's been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a great time. It's all going too quickly.
Great. Maura Healey, it's great to see you.
Happy holidays,
Thank you
Jim.
so much, Attorney General. Same to you.